Got the wind right here in a jar. Have the rain on tap at the bar. I got the sunshine on the shelf. Allow me to introduce myself. Stoner Story Witch.
I just love resistance stories like that. I love the cleverness of resistance. I love the creativity of resistance, So yeah, I would love to see some class warfare that's really, taking the tools of technology and being super creative and subversive with them. And through that, finding self-expression, joy.
Hello and welcome to the Stoner Story Witch. My name is Kristen and I'm grateful to be hosting this podcast on the lands of the Chorotega people, colonially known as Costa Rica. Today's episode marks the first episode of 2026 and the full moon in Cancer. Today's episode is intended to be short and sweet, and my first episode that is from the archives. I am including excerpts from 2 different episodes of the last year. The first excerpt that I'm going to be including is actually more recent, and it comes from Jeanna Kadlec's episode with me, where she reads an excerpt from her book Heretic, where she quotes Audre Lorde in The Uses of the Erotic, because I really feel like I want to ground into that and orient to one of the reasons that I've been so obsessed with romantasy for over a year now. My very first episode on romantasy was over a year ago, where I chatted with my friend Burju about A Court of Thorns and Roses. But really at its core, I believe that romantasy is about resourcing ourselves for liberation, individually and collectively. I believe that so many of these romantasy series would not have the popularity that they had if they were not rooted in collective liberation principles, right? They're not just choosing to be partnered with, that male main character. Most of the books that I've been reading have been, hetero oriented. So it has been the female protagonist and the male main character. That's beside the point that I'm trying to make. But it's because he represents a larger world of solidarity with people in down power positions, with the fight for resisting the empire and what have you. I think a great example of what I'm trying to say and what I'm hoping to convey is in the movie Titanic with Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, which I watched, I think, as a 5th or 6th grader, something like that, when it first came out. And I, upon reflecting and rewatching that movie now as an adult, it is clear that Leonardo DiCaprio, Jack Dawson, as a love interest for Rose, Kate Winslet's character, It's not about her choosing him because, he's just such a dreamy guy. Sure, that's part of it. But his role in her life is he meets her as she's about to end her life. She feels so stifled by the burdens and expectations of her wealth and her position and this engagement that she doesn't want. She's about to end her life by jumping off the back. He convinces her not to. And for just the next handful of days, she feels alive. She chooses life. After the Titanic sinks, she could so easily just die and die to be with him after he has died. But no, she made a promise to him that she would choose life and that she would die old and that she would live the life that he sold her on, that he convinced her was possible, that she and ultimately that movie is about class. It's about choosing solidarity and love and belonging in a world that is like more embracing of the vitality of life and not like that, the burdens and expectations of like the class that she came from. And I think so much romanticy. I mean, certainly not all. There's, does she start off rich and become in solidarity with people in down power? Or, is it like, is she in a down power position and then she kind of like, marries some prince, but that prince is actually, there's more to say about this. But, Jeanna Kadlec offered a really great quote that she shared in her book, Heretic, that I really do just want to emphasize for the point that I am trying to make here. So I'm going to include that here right now.
Quote, that I quote at length in Heretic.
Yeah.
Can I read a little bit of it?
Please.
So this is a portion of in which she's talking about the source of the Greek word eros, and the concept of eros, which is born of chaos. But this is one of the pieces of uses of the erotic. Audre Lorde will link it in the show notes. So, quote, "This is one reason why the erotic is so feared and so often relegated to the bedroom alone," your point about romanticy. But once we begin to feel deeply all the aspects of our lives, we begin to demand from ourselves and from our life pursuits that they feel in accordance with that joy which we know ourselves to be capable of. This is a grave responsibility, not to settle for the convenient, the shoddy, the conventionally expected, nor the merely safe. And
oh, yeah.
And I think that I mean, when I cite that in Heretic, I'm articulating it in respect of like not settling for a relationship with someone who's like still in the closet, a lot of other pieces related to that. But in regards to like romance, like in the way that what you're saying, like the love interest in a lot of romance or romanticy, like activates someone's animus, like they activate that part of them that's like, wait, I've been settling for the conventional. I've been settling for the safe. I've just been doing like autopilot, but there's a whole world out here and I could be a different person in this world. So I very much agree with what you're saying about like this journey that a lot of these very popular heroines go on. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Jeanna, for coming onto the show and for sharing that with us. All right, so my second clip that I'm going to share comes from the New Moon in Sagittarius episode of 2025 with Carmen Spagnola, where we were actually talking about severance. And towards the end of the episode, I asked Carmen, what are her hopes and dreams for the next season of Severance for the characters that we're seeing? And she proceeded to give me such a great little soundbite there about the Greek idea of virtue and acorn theory and this idea of Amor Fati, the love of our fate, which I think ultimately romanticy and the erotic is about a reconnection of ourselves with our life's purpose or that which matters most to us, or the love of our fate. I think honestly a lot of love songs, I sometimes listen to love songs and kind of get the same gist, like, is this really about a person or is this just like about living like the life that you want to have? Anyway, I digress. Anyway, upon re-listening to that episode, because, the New Moon in Sagittarius just happened in 2025. And so re-listening to that episode from 2024 with Carmen, I heard that bit and I really reflected on how that conversation with Carmen actually integrated in me as a song that I am going to share at the end of this podcast. As of right now, the song is titled Amor Fati. And the song that I'm going to share is very related to the book that I am writing, which is a fanfic about the Empyrean series by Rebecca Yarros, in which I think it is safe to say I am in a season of battling perfectionism. And we'll save that for my writers group episodes with Matt. But I just want to say that as the first episode of 2026, I am offering this From the Archives episode, these clips from Jeanna Kadlec and Carmen Spagnola to provide context for this song that those conversations have inspired. And I am offering that song, the roughest of rough drafts of this song, as a somatic practice for myself, that I can survive publishing something that doesn't feel complete. And that essentially by clicking publish, I am really just in a devotional practice of sharing my gifts and offering proof that things don't need to be polished in order for them to still be potent. And it doesn't matter if they're potent for anybody else more than just myself. And that is still a worthy practice. So without any further ado, here is the clip of my conversation with Carmen, followed by the song that it resourced and inspired.
I would love for there to be some kind of like stick thrown in the wheel where the body just refused.
Right.
The body just stops, because that's what happens. The body will just stop at some point. The body will not comply with this. Eventually you will, develop some kind of physical illness, or you will go insane, or you will have a mental breakdown, or whatever it is. All these things can happen at once. So I would love it if they did introduce just how fucking out of control we are with our own bodies. Like, I would like to see the will towards resistance and consciousness be like irrepressibly bubbling up, particularly through the women characters. They're willing to self-sacrifice in multiple kinds of ways. I also don't want to be so reductionist to be like, all she needs is love's true kiss or something dumb like that. But I just mean she does need some allies with the contact nutrition. And some kind of thing of a flash of eye contact or a flash of something where they develop eye language where they could figure out a way to signal to each other in a blinking Morse code or something of we got to get out of here. This is what we got to do. And I would love it if some form of communication spread through all the different areas. I just love resistance stories like that. I love the cleverness of resistance. I love the creativity of resistance, So I would love to see some class warfare that's really, really, taking the tools of technology and being super creative and subversive with them. And through that, finding self-expression, joy, finding the sense of, well, as you know, in the Numinous Network, we've talked about the Greek idea of virtue and how the gods used to believe that virtue was one of the most important qualities humans could cultivate. But virtue in Hellenism and ancient Greece is different from what we think now. Virtue then meant more that you have a destiny and you are born with certain gifts that will help bring your destiny to fruition. And your job in your life is to develop your gifts so that they become talents. So the idea of living a virtuous life actually means you have quite a talent for living your unique life, your personal sense of destiny. And so if we can embrace our destiny wholeheartedly, no matter if it's great or humble, and have that Amor Fati, the love of one's fate, and that unless you step into your destiny, you are not experiencing the fullness of your field of possibility. And that every person, well, and this kind of comes, okay, this is in my book, but it's very relevant right now. Okay, but the idea of acorn theory is that there is an oakness to the acorn. The potential to be an oak tree is in every acorn, and it is therefore whole. So even if that acorn falls in really disadvantaged circumstances, it's still the oak. It's just that it's there in whole potential. And there's something beautiful about recognizing the oakness of your acorn and saying, I'm going to step into it, even if I don't ever get to fully live it out, because it's going to mean I stand out and I'm a target. I'm going to do it because that is my destiny and that is my lot. And I love my lot. And so I would love it if they each had this sense of kind of connection, and through the connection they became more like ventral vagal, more like inspired. And through that, they each kind of found their own gifts and honed them into talents so that they could step into their destiny, which is about performing your inherent function excellently. And maybe their inherent function is to just, be the one who can stretch between two knobs in the door to like make it so that Helly can wake up. It's like, yes, you performed your inherent function. Your whole life was leading to this moment. And it's like such a destined moment. I would love it if each of them got to kind of experience the creativity and the collaboration that comes from connection with other people. And through that, experience the emergent property of possibility that happens. And when people step into and perform their inherent function really excellently, they just like give themselves over to their destiny. Even if Lumen isn't destroyed, they would have to, regardless of what Lumen and that whole organization experiences, it's the quality of our humanness that matters so much. And I would like for all of them to experience the ecstasy of stepping into whatever their unique quality of their humanness is.
Thank you so much for listening today. As always, feel free to reach out to me at stonerstorywitch@gmail.com or comment on the Substack post for this episode. I would love to hear any connections that you are making or any conversations that this is initiating for you. Thank you to John Williams and Anais Mitchell for the inspiration for the theme song of the Stoner Story Witch podcast, as well as Matt Schubbe and Kevin Carlo for their creative juices for the cover art and the sound editing and production. And with that, I will leave you with my quote from Rev. Angel Kyoto Williams that says, "Love and justice are not two. Without inner change, there can be no outer change. And without collective change, no change matters. Take good care, everyone. Bye for now.